Today's tutorial, I'm going to show you guys the difference between the Rust-Oleum fat caps and things to watch out for. Yes, they clog a little bit. I'll try to get this as close to the camera as possible. They'll unclog if you set them up in some lacquer thinner. So that's something you can try. And then you got your regular little caps. These ones are usually a little harder to work. So this is why you guys are going to want to practice all this. These, they put out a lot heavier coat of a paint. It covers nicely. But those are my two of choice. Let's hop to it, shall we? What is up, you guys? This is Charli Q-Pan from Spray Paint Art by Charli. Welcome to my channel, and today is not really going to be a painting, it's actually going to be a lesson for all of you who are actually showing interest in wanting to learn how to spray paint art. It's going to be called cap control. Now, some caps are going to be easier to control than others. Some are going to be real hard to work with at first, and your hands are going to be sore, but don't give up on it, because who knows what the future may hold, you know? So I'm going to start by showing up the Rust-Oleum fat caps, which they're usually the easier ones to work with. However, the cans do release a lot more paint, a heavier coat of paint. I will show you right now, actually. See? It lays out a heavier coat of paint, but the cap is easier to work with. As opposed to a brand that I can't really say at the moment. Yeah, I looked up at the camera. I just want to make sure I get this stuff in the frame, you know? Anyway, this brand you can pick up at the dollar store. I would recommend doing that because it works well with Rust-Oleum and you're not spending $4 a can. So this one, you get a lighter coat and the cap is a little harder to work with. I'm going to show you guys a couple exercises to do so you guys can get used to using the caps with your trigger fingers. Anyway, you start with your dots. The closer you are, the more paint, the heavier the paint will come out. So if you hold it like right up against the poster board like this, you're going to get puddles and splats. You don't want that. You back up, you get more of a control. It still lays out kind of heavy, but you get more of a rounder circle. As you go back, it gets lighter and smaller at times. You just want to do that across the poster board so you can get the feel for the can and how the paint works. This will help you later on down the road with like different textures and whatnot for your paintings. So if I go back here, you hold the can about, I want to say 6 to 8 inches away, you get like a mist or a lighter gray. As opposed, you go closer, you get the darker stuff. It's a little humid out right now, so just bear with the poster board and everything. It's gonna look a little funky right now. You do the same thing Rusto caps. It's a little harder to learn the Rusto caps because of how much paint comes out. So if you go up against the poster board like this, you got your more heavier coat of paint. And if you're wanting to learn textures with that, you do the same thing. Very important to make sure your cans are mixed up really well, otherwise you're going to end up with the spatters like I have going on right here. So you want to try to avoid that and make sure that the paint is mixed up really, really good. Anyway, yeah, you're going to do that repeatedly until you get the feel for the Rusto caps. It's important, you might want to actually try and do this before you actually go to make a painting or video or any of that. But anyway, it's a good idea to hold the cans at least 6 to 8 inches away from the paper and just go back and forth real light and as quickly as possible. If you do not, it will seep through with the black because the black lays out differently than the Rust-Oleum brands. And it will seep through sometimes. However, if you do this technique where you're going back and forth repeatedly, it won't bleed through like this. As opposed to this. The more paint you lay down like that, I just laid a real heavy coat of red down. I'm going to put the black down to show you guys that it will bleed through. And it really sucks. It's going to make me look like a liar now. Can you believe that? Okay. Alright, well you can see it in some spots. If you look closely, you can see that the red is starting to seep through. So, like I said, for exercises to help gain control of the caps, just little lines like this, back and forth, lightly touching the caps. And it helps if you do it when it's not humid out, too. And then you do your dots. Just so you can get the feel for the can, which is very important. Know your cans of spray paint and how they work and how they feel on your hands. I know it sounds kind of weird, but just being honest. So this is going to be lesson 1. If you guys are serious about wanting to learn spray paint art, please check this video out. Smack the like button, leave a comment below. And this is Charli Cupan from Spray Paint Art by Charli. You all have a beautiful day, and peace, love, and all the above.